Hi, I'm Claire, your Parent Liaison Officer, and today we're going to talk about the PLO's practical pointers. A very important one today. It's about student timetables. When you think about it, there's actually a few different ways that you might obtain your student's timetable, whether that's via email from a Connect teacher, depending on what year level they're in, or via the subject teacher emailed to you. But you can also obtain this yourself. So if you have access to QParents, you can find your student timetable there. And also on our website under IT support, you'll find a link to One School, which is where your student's timetable lives. So each term, maybe each semester, and definitely at the start of each year, you will need a new version of your student timetable, but it doesn't stop there. One important role of the home tutor is to go through that new version of the student timetable with your student and work out and plan exactly what is required to be in their timetable in addition to those set lessons. Your student's timetable contains a lot of useful information. Let's look at that now. At the top of the page, we have the name of the school, and then underneath we have the year level and the semester the timetable is for. On the next line down, you'll see your student's full name and also their EQID, which is really important for accessing QParents, the year level your student is in, the cluster or region that you're based in, and also the name of your Connect teacher. The timetable shows the days of the week, when the scheduled lessons are, and which teachers deliver those lessons. The lessons are also recorded, which is very important for some students that are not able to attend on the day, but it's also really good for revision as well. Further down the page, you'll see a legend, which has codes for the teachers as well as for the subjects. You'll notice that your timetable probably has a lot of white blank spaces. And in those spaces, you need to, with your student, discuss how to fill in that time, because Cairns School of Distance Education is a state school, and therefore we have a 5-day week with 5 hours a day or 25 hours a week. Definitely put in there the work returns that are due. So for each subject for each week, have at least one or maybe two of those vacant spaces or hours or half hours dedicated to working on whatever work return is due for that subject. The other thing that you can put in some of these white spaces is revision. So you might find that your student prefers to do 15 minutes or half an hour of revision just before they start their lesson. So they're going in refreshed with all that information that they learned the last time they did that class. Other students sometimes prefer to do the revision after that lesson. So when they're very aware of what they've just learnt, they can immediately revise it. You could do either one of these. You could trial them to see what's best for your student, or you could just do both of them depending on what fits in well with your timetable. We also have these really fantastic planners. Now these planners help you to fill in those blank spaces. So if you take your timetable and you put every one of those live lessons onto the planner, and then you can fill in the spaces as you've done that and as you go through. Now this is actually an interactive planner, which is your choice if you use that function or not, totally up to you, but you can select your subject from the drop-down box and pop it in the exact time you have it for your lessons. But if you have perhaps an appointment on Thursdays that it clashes with, or you're having an appointment coming up on a Thursday in a week or every week for a while, you could put in the time where you're going to plan with your student, plan for them to watch the recording to make sure they stay up to date. So this planner can be used sometimes for the whole term, although often people find that it's really helpful for a few weeks and then they might change it. And when you first start using it, it's a really good idea to check in and see what's working and what's not and make adjustments for the following week. And then eventually you and your student will get to know the way they work, and you'll get a rhythm happening and be able to use this planner to the best of what it's worth for both of you. Once you've entered all the required details into your planner, so everything your student needs to do, let's make sure that you put in there some brain breaks. So these brain breaks might be get up, get outside, take a walk around the block. They might just be have a little dance and shake the wiggles out of you. They could play their instrument, they could read a book. Just make sure you put in some 15 minutes here and there every day where they're having a break from the screen and disconnecting in that way and doing something for their well-being. So just remember, with your timetables and your planners, if you choose to go down that route, there's never a perfect way of doing it. So make sure you change it up. Make sure you check in with your student each week to see if it's working and create a new one for the following week or the following term to start again and be fresh with your approach to your learning. One final thing that you could consider putting into your planners and adding to your timetables is a home conference. So that sounds like a really fancy formal word, and I encourage you to come up with a better one. Put aside a time where you sit down together and have a talk about the week. So talk about what worked well, what still needs to be done that you need to follow up on, what work returns they have due and what they need to start this week to make sure they're staying up to date. But find a time each week where you put that in to your planner, because it's really important to check in with them and to have the conversations to find out what's going on. And there might even be little tasks to do afterwards, like email your teacher with a query or something like that, or check in about how to submit one of the work returns. But it's a really good idea to check in and have that home conference and make it really fun. Introduce food, be in a really comfortable place, just really encourage them to be involved in the planning of their learning as well. So that's the PLO's practical pointer for this time round. I invite you to, perhaps leading into the new term, to take a look at that timetable that you have and have that conversation with your student about how to put it into a planner and have that check-in. And remember that nothing is set in stone or perfect. It's always good to talk about how you can improve on things for the future. And always remember that you're welcome to get in contact with me for home tutor support. I'm Claire, the Parent Liaison Officer. You'll find my contact details on the website.